Good evening. Great to see everybody. It is an honor to be here tonight, an absolute privilege to be back in the old stomping grounds of Miami. Students, tonight is about you. Let's cut to the chase, right? There's someone here tonight that because you've gotten this far in your academic career, there's probably a couple people here tonight that might be very proud of you. I'd like to take a minute, look if you can find them for a minute. Look and see if you can find them. If they're not here, think of them. I think it's very important. Give them a round of applause. Thank you for their support. And actually, that's the first lesson I learned, is never stop doing that. Someone once told me it never gets old making people that love you proud. So that's something that I live by, and I think that's really cool in moments like this where you can make them proud and continue to do that throughout your career. So by making it this far, you're doing a very good job. Like some of the other speakers already said, congrats, class of 2026, on getting this far, getting through some of the tougher classes in this program. Congrats on getting through your anatomy class, mainly that first hurdle you have to get over when you get into physical therapy school. Congrats on also getting through the happy hours that usually come after those practicals and after those exams. I know from personal experience, those can also be a challenge. Tonight, it's very surreal to be here. It's mainly because I remember sitting back there, and I remember very vividly my white coat ceremony. I remember very vividly sitting there. I remember our speaker. Our speaker was a man named Dr. Alan Hardin. And Dr. Hardin at the time was the director of rehab at the University of Texas for their football team. So someone that I was very interested in, being that I wanted to pursue in that career. He came up here, gave a great speech, very motivational. I remember going home after that, and I told my dad, I said, I want to do that. I said, I want to have a job like that. I want to work in big time sports. And I also, someday I want to hopefully do a good enough job that they think about inviting me back to be a white coat speaker. So I want to thank all of you for helping making that happen and letting me be here tonight. Parents, I think it's also really important right now that you acknowledge something to be very happy about. Very simple, but thank your sons, daughters, whoever you're here for picking such an awesome vacation destination for grad school. I think I saw my parents more during grad school than I did at any other time. It's very ironic. But thank them for that. To put that in perspective, one of the other schools I remember looking at was in Wheeling, West Virginia. So you can do a lot worse than Miami, Florida, for where you have to come see your sons, daughters, or whoever you're supporting. So be sure to congratulate them on that. I'm up here tonight full of gratitude and very thankful. Students, I think one thing we can agree on is there's a lot to be thankful for at this university, in this program, that this is a special place. This is a place that's not like other places. I remember feeling like that from my interview process and moving forward, that it's different. It's different here. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but first and foremost, as cliche as it may sound, it's the people. It's your classmates. It's the people you spend entirely too much time around. It's the mentors, the people in the Palmer building. I remember personally, my mentors, Dr. Rea, like Dr. Kirk Sanchez mentioned, Dr. Fagenbaum. I spent way too many hours in their office in my time here. But they are the backbone of the education that I got, the backbone of the education that I use every single day to do my job, so I thank them for that. I'm very thankful, and we should be thankful for every single professor in this program, because from Dr. Kirk Sanchez, Dr. Cohen, Dr. Cahalan, Dr. Gailey, Dr. Moore, the list goes on and on, Dr. Cahalan, everybody, like I said, it goes on and on. But even if I didn't go into cardiopulmonary rehab, right, or even if one of you doesn't go into neuro rehab, or maybe their division of physical therapy, there's still someone that every day when you go into that classroom, you sit and you watch a professional that is so revered at what they do, so respected at what they do, that at the very worst, the bottom line, even if you're not interested in that part of physical therapy, you're watching one of the best to do it as a person and as a professional. So for that, I'm very thankful for all of you that impacted my life in that way. I'm thankful, and I think it's important, we're all thankful for the people in this building, like Jelaine and Jackie Herrera. I think that, they're not the professors. But from the moment you enroll in this program, they're the people that it's their kindness, their compassion, they bring that every day, and it makes makes it feel very much not like a school, but definitely like a new home for 3 years, and I think that that's very different as well, so I thank them for that. I would also be remiss, the last thank you I want to give is, I want to thank this program for bringing me together with the love of my life. She is sitting there, and she thinks I'm talking about sports physical therapy, without question. But it's not, it's the pretty young lady in the front row, my wife, Christina. We were one of those couples. I thank this program for bringing a girl from New Jersey and a guy from Ohio together. She's the pillar of our family, the pillar of my life at this point, so I'm very much in debt to this program for that above all else. I think that's also, students, a very important lesson number 2, is one day you're standing across from a cadaver with somebody, and the next you know you're 6 years married and you have 2 kids. And so I think the lesson is be careful who you pick for lab partners, because you never know where that's going to lead. But it worked out pretty well for me. If there's any class couples we could talk, I'll tell you how to guide me through some things afterwards, all right? But I'm very thankful for her. Tonight, this speech, to be honest with you, I can only do it one way, and that's because, like you heard, I work in sports. Everything I know is sports. I eat, sleep, breathe sports. So all I know when it comes to speaking is pep talks, motivational tactics, of which I'm going to attempt to deploy on you today, and hopefully something sticks. I say that coming from a place of honesty and now reflection on now doing this for a few years. And I'm going to be completely honest, it starts with the fact that when I was you, I don't know if any of you felt this way, I had no clue I even got a white coat upon coming to physical therapy school. I had no clue what a white coat ceremony was. I didn't know any of that existed, right? So, turns out it's very important. Turns out it's very important. It's a very cool ceremony. It's very awesome that we do this. And by definition, like you've kind of heard already, it's a rite of passage. The white coat ceremony is viewed as a rite of passage. It's a transition from student to healthcare professional. It is a conversion from your books to boots on the ground being a clinician. And all that stuff is real. That's what it is by definition. To sit here and say that that's all it is, though, it's not. Because while it is those things, it is a transition. It is a change. It is a very big deal. The white coat itself is very doctorly, right? It's very bright white. It's clean. I would also argue it's blank, like a piece of paper or a canvas ready for the true artwork to actually begin in who you're about to become. Okay? So it's very important that when you have a ceremony like this that you acknowledge that you acknowledge that yes, it is those things and we respect that, but we also have to acknowledge what it's going to be. Because the white coat also represents an honor, it represents an opportunity, it represents a responsibility, and most of all what I want to discuss tonight is it represents a commitment. And that commitment is far deeper than probably what you think, because it's far deeper than the Lockman's test you learned for the knee. It's a commitment far deeper than the gait belt transfer that you learned that is very important. Okay? The white coat is a commitment to things like leadership. Whether you like it or not, you are now a leader. You're a medical professional. People are going to come to you for advice that never did before. They're going to come to you and seek you out. They're going to come to you with a look of hope. They're going to come to you with a look of desperation. They're going to come to you with trust. Trust that you will do everything you can to help them. Whether you like that or not, that is your responsibility. Whether you're tall, short, male, female, whether you're introverted or extroverted, that is part of this job now that you've accepted. If you didn't like that, you're also going to be sad to hear that your parents are going to be your number one patients. I don't know how many of you have already started your parents asking you how to heal their ailments. The worst part of that is they ignore every aspect of advice that you give them, because it's usually exercise and stuff, right? I used to joke with my parents, I used to say, if you wanted me to give you a very quick temporary response, you should have sent me to chiropractic school instead of physical therapy school. But here we are. I'll be honest, this leadership thing really was something that never dawned on me when I was a student. It didn't dawn on me until I actually interviewed for my first job, which was the one I have now at Ohio State. In that job interview, I sat down with our then head coach named Urban Meyer. If you're not familiar with Urban Meyer, he's regarded as a little bit of a tough cookie, and he's regarded as a man that puts winning above all else. That's his job. So when I sat down to interview with him, I sat down and I tried to sell him on me. I sat down and tried to sell him on what I could do for Ohio State's football program, what I could do for the medical staff, and how I would impact it. About halfway through that sales pitch, he stopped me. And he said, listen, if you want to come here to fix hamstrings and ACLs, don't come here. As you can imagine, I was a little taken back. And luckily, he continued. He said, if you want to come here, you come here with the intent to change young men's lives. You come here to be a person in their life that they do not have. I was even more stunned, because a guy like him, whose paycheck, whether he's hired or fired completely depends on wins and losses, could look at me, could look at that position, could look at that profession and say, that's the impact I think you can have on this football team. That was a first for me. I was stunned. It was from that point on I also thought there might be a little something more to this than what I thought. I can tell you now, going into my 10th season, there's a lot more to this. That bright white of the coat is a light. It's a beacon of hope for people that are going to search you out. That's part of your job now, so I encourage you to embrace that leadership role. The white coat is a commitment to leadership, but it is also a commitment to selflessness. Physical therapy is a wonderful profession. Every year, I think it makes U.S. Newsweek's top professions to get into, top professions to pursue, and it might be. But there's a lot of jobs that will pay you more money. There's a lot of jobs that you could take and have better hours. There's a lot of jobs you could take and probably have more work from home hours. That's the truth. But this profession isn't about you. It's actually about everybody else. See, this profession, when I say selflessness, it's about their goals. It's about other people's dreams. So my challenge to you is that make that your goal, is to help them check those boxes. Help people achieve those goals, whether that's catching a touchdown pass in a game, whether it's getting back to running, or whether it's walking again, reaching up overhead to get something off the top shelf, or just maybe not sleeping in pain. Make it your daily objective to help them check those boxes and be that person, and then watch what happens to your paycheck, to your quality of life, and watch as you hit a level of fulfillment that you didn't know possible. At this point in my career, I can tell you honestly, I have never cried tears of joy over winning a game. We've been lucky to win a decent amount. I can also tell you I've never cried tears of joy over a paycheck or a salary change, even though they're very welcome. But I can tell you I have sobbed as a grown man on the sideline of a game on multiple occasions when an athlete or one of my former patients made something happen that helped them achieve that dream. That's something powerful beyond measure that I can't describe to you. The white coat is a commitment to leadership. It is a commitment to selflessness. It is a commitment to a lifelong desire for education and knowledge. I know your bookwork's almost done. I know that very soon you'll get this white coat on your shoulders. I know that before you know it, you're gonna blink, and instead of a white coat, you'll have a cap and gown on. I know you'll be refreshing your email for your NPTE results, which you will pass because that's what Miami students do. And I know you'll have the letters DPT after your name.